And it's game time. KineX5 here. We're in 2K4 CTF. This is going to be actually an MLUT scrim between Team Big and Team SaSSy Map 3. Nothing at stake here, so we actually seen SaSSy take the first two maps. They won Bleak fairly handily. Did a good job on Virility of coming back. We actually saw a lead by Team Big about halfway through the map, and then then SaSSy just took over, and their offense was able to come up with a burst of about, I want to say, 5 unanswered caps to take that one. However, you know, like we said, these are scrims. This is a good time for a lot of teams to try things out. As we see a quick run coming in here, but that one gets squashed. So I'm not sure where the power-ups are on here, because anytime you see some early offense like this, power-ups can kind of get lost in the mix. So now we're going to watch GS3K coming back to his own shock. Only 16 health, can't piston to a stand, so Blue's going to have a chance to get a grab here. Drake goes down, though. A nice standing combo waiting for him. So SaSSy with a quick lead here. Minute in the game. Second time in a row we've seen them cap. Actually, no, it was second time this scrim on Bleak. They also capped very quickly. Could be mistaken. Either way, we've seen them be aggressive, try to get really, really early game caps, and they've been successful catching Blue on their heels a little bit early in games. Maybe something Blue wants to address. That's going to be Team Big. However, again, these MLUT teams, a lot of them haven't played together before, only in pickup games, so it's a good chance for them to sort of shake out some of these issues, and maybe anything from assignments and responsibilities to just gameplay styles, and even what maps they want to pick. I mean, some of these maps, like I know we saw Team Big wanted to play those UT99 remakes first and second, specifically to get some practice on them. Grendelkeep, certainly a map everyone's going to be familiar with. So it's definitely the most played map in 2K4 CTF. So none of these teams are going to be learning how to play this map, so to speak, but they may be learning what roles work for them. You see, I know we had for Team Big, they had Lavac playing a mid role previously, so maybe they're going to put him out there again and maybe see if they would prefer for him to go in and play offense, or maybe if he's better off playing more defensively mid. There's a lot of little nuances of capture the flag that you get to test out in scrims. And SaSSy now just walking across this map. And with Zeos and Chowie on D, it's going to be a tough challenge for Blue to try to get in and do anything without having 3 offense. I think that's what they're going to have to do, is pull Lavac off his mid-roll, have them drop 3 in on them, and just sort of try to blob up and cover across mid. It's actually something we saw in the MLUT match for, what was it? Marcos versus Facial Team. And we saw that was the strategy that Facial Team employed, was to just kind of all get together and just sort of wrecking ball. Nice rockets coming in there on Chowie. Just sort of just like wrecking ball their way through mid. Just allow your fraggers to do what they can do, and have your runners, pull up their shield gun. Double kill coming in. Lavac's flat cannon. They're going to get this return. One more kill and they get a cap. Kills himself in the flag stand. Gets picked up. Killed on the stand and returned. So you saw a nice not top 10 moment coming in there for Lavac. He was inches away from capping. Decided to spam the flag stand, but instead of using flag primary, he used flak alt fire. That flak ball splash damage killed him. Red team able to return the favor with a rebound cap. Already up 3-0. They're averaging a cap a minute so far. However, Grendelkeep, a map that can turn around in a hurry depending on power-ups, and if you can just kind of get your stuff together. This is one of those situations where if you're Blue, you might think about running 3 defense for a second just to calm things down and give your D time to get into a rhythm and get set. Then again, they got Amp covering himself here. Red team is mostly behind him. They're going to be able to get in their own base. In fact, Red team is entirely behind him. He can jump to his flag stand right now. They can kill Chowie anytime in the next few seconds. It should be a cap. They're going to need to set up for a standoff, though, as Blue flag carrier now is all alone. Red now sees him. Lavac needs some cover. Needs it now. He actually kills the flag carrier himself, but their base is completely dirty as Red is all over the place. And Lavac there, luckily, drops that flag out the window, so Bob able to catch up to it. Otherwise, probably would have been a return. Going to be a return anyway. Meanwhile, FailSauce is pissing all the way back to base. Blue will get a grab here, though, as they're able to get in front. So seeing a smart move by Dre, able to move that flag off the stick. Doesn't help him in the end, though. And so, yeah, not even 5 minutes into this game, SaSSy is averaging a cap a minute here, and just dominating so far. Blue really needs to get their flag under control and calm things down a little bit. you got to wonder what this is going to do. Again, this is a good test of their capability to bounce back, basically, to come back from when they're down and calm things down and say, hey, you know, let's relax, let's slow things down, get our focus back, and then take it back from here. Because you know what? If they can cap 4 times in 4 minutes, anyone can cap 4 times in 4 minutes. Danny, meanwhile, getting back into his own base again. However, there is vengeance waiting for him. He has cover, however. Levak pissing across the map. Needs to wait on some cover, though. That's going to get returned. Swagger's going to be back on his own stick. Gets killed. Pick up by GS3K. So 5 caps in just a little over 5 minutes. As we see this mad offensive rush. And I will point this out. One thing we're seeing blue flag carriers doing, you know, we're definitely seeing a lack of teamwork amongst their offense. The one thing we saw in previous maps was their flag carriers they weren't getting relays, they weren't passing the flag, they weren't being able to pick up, getting pickups on the kills. And one thing we're seeing them here is during standoffs and during transition situations, you see Bob doing a nice little risky maneuver, popping back in enemy base and getting that kill in return. We're seeing their flag carriers running away from their cover a lot. And that's just a lack of communication. It's also a lack of just familiarity. I mean, once you start to play with each other enough, you'll actually learn people's tendencies, and you'll sort of instinctively know where they're going to go before they do it. And things like that won't be as big of a deal. However, currently, these players are still kind of new to one another, to varying degrees, of course, but they're not going to have that sort of unspoken familiarity. And that's one thing that can really come through, and you can really build through a lot of these scrims. And you know, that's why they're opting to keep playing these maps, even though they're losing fairly badly. It's, you know, something they can improve on. And if nothing else, if they need to pull these demo wrecks, maybe they can find some of these little issues and work on them as they get ready for the season. Element with another nice return there. We've seen Element with a couple clutch returns already in this match. Maybe becoming a specialty of his. Here we're going to watch Chowie dropping back on defense, and that's actually something he's known for, is clutch returns. Typically with a translocator is how he like to do his, but let's go ahead and watch this red defense a little bit, as they've pitched a shutout so far on Grendelkeep, almost a halfway point. And you know, when you can leave your defense on an island like that and let them play 2 on 3 and still win those battles and keep the flag safe, that allows your offense to really overrun the other team's defense. And I think that's what we're seeing from Blue. Is they're able to drop 3 in, or excuse me, from Red, is they're able to drop 3 in on Blue's defense. And on Grendelkeep, when you've got three offense dropping on you, it's really difficult to do much. SaSSy hiding under the link gun stairs there. We saw that on Virility as well. However, Levak's looking pretty solid to make a run here. If he can get any cover, he's going to go high mid, run straight into the amp. That's going to go down. SaSSy, meanwhile, has had 9 health this entire flag run. Picks up some health. He's going to jump onto his stand. He took very little damage. And I think that, you know, there's some little defensive communication problem right there as they lose track of him. I know Element on defense doesn't have a mic. Last I saw, he had Galgor speaking for him. Looks like that's still the case, but of course, one of the problems with having no mics is there's going to be a little bit more of a delay when someone's speaking for you, and you don't know what their intentions are. You don't know what they're planning on doing, if they're going to cut off, or you don't know what they're going to do ahead of time. You have to react to what they're seeing. It's something that's probably hurting them, although we have seen Element individually play well. Red flag moving again. I'm going to go ahead and cover Zeos and watch him play some more of this defense that has held the flag down 10 minutes now. Pitching a shutout while his team has pulled 6 across. They actually had 5 in just about 5.5 minutes, so things have slowed down quite a bit, relatively speaking. They were on pace to score about 20 caps this map. So credit Blue defense for regaining their composure and slowing things down and keeping things under control. Well, Zeos doesn't know what happened to his flag. Somebody went ahead and gave him a little gift and returned it for him. And Big V dropping that trans, not sure where he went, but it does allow Bob to get in and get a grab. Some nice rockets coming in to disrupt Bob. However, I don't know if Bob knows this, but there are 4 red behind him. He can get all the way back to base if he gets any amount of cover. His flag is going to be dancing around, and he's probably going to get across mid here. He's picking up those vials. Element trying to cut him off. He's going to slow him down, but they've got cover all over as the defense is actually pushed up to mid covering. So no pressure from Blue on the flag. There we go. Finally gets a pickup. Lovat trying to keep things alive. Able to stay alive for quite a while, but seemed not able to get this return, and that's going to make it 7-0. And of course, one of the problems you have with Grendelkeep is you get into a flag transition situation in the base. There's not really much that you can do with the flag as far as hiding. I mean, you can try to survive and try to maybe get to one of those lifts and dance around up in rockets. It's not a complex enough base, though, to keep that alive too long. You either need to get cover or get that return quickly. So far this is all red. Not sure who the star of the show is going to be, whether it's red offense or excuse me, red defense or red offense. But we're going to watch some more red defense because we've seen a lot of flag running this map or this game. So watch Chowie get these returns, and you see what he did there. He transed right up to the flag carrier, immediately switched to that flag primary. That's going to put you in between the cover and the flag, so that if you're able to get that kill, you can dive right on it. See red pistoling back to base once again. That blue flag has just been off the stick non-stop. To be fair, red flag's been moving a good amount too, as they've had 3 on offense, but they've had trouble getting through mid. You know, contrary to what I was saying before, I'm almost, you know, I'm curious if blue might not have been better off having Lovat play a true mid role, so that he could slow down the offense of red. And maybe slow this game down a bit, because given that they're a frag-heavy team, I don't think they can win a shootout. However, they have been getting this flag out enough. It's just been controlling mid that's been the issue. And you know, they've even gotten back to their base a few times. Their flag is always gone. So I think having a more defensive positioning, you know, they wouldn't get the flag out as much, but they might be able to keep their flag under control a little bit more. They may actually have helped them in the long run if they could slow this game down. We may see them do that in the second half. Down by 8, if this were a match, you'd pretty much go all out and say, all right, well, we pretty much just need to play 5 offense and pray. But given a scrim, they may decide to play to use this opportunity just to sort of reset and say, okay, well, the last 7 minutes, we're going to do this, and we're just going to test this and ignore the score. Because like I said, nothing's at stake. It doesn't matter if they lose this. It's all about learning and getting better as a team. You see Lovat go down. Unfortunate flag drop there. He had cover in position, but it just happened to fall right off the stand. Denny, you know, being a little cheeky, doing the rafter thing. And I'm not sure if blue knows to look up there. They're certainly running in circles around him. They don't seem to know where he is. There's only a couple places to hide in this map. There we go. They finally track him down. They get him down. You know, sometimes even those fairly obvious spots seem a little less obvious if you haven't seen it in a while. Once you see it once, though, you're probably not going to get away with it again in the match. I'm going to put another camera on Chowie and watch him fight off this attack. Again, 3 blue in. They're doing a good job of overwhelming their red defense and getting this flag moving. But once again, their flag is gone at the same time, and they're having trouble getting through mid. Red makes it 9-0 now. I'm going to go ahead and pour through some of these stats and see if anything jumps out. I mean, you wonder if maybe the amps are going SaSSy's way. I don't know if they've been taking the enemy amps. I actually haven't seen any amps fought over very often. I think that it's gotten a little sloppy, probably playing a little bit of pub CTF here. See amps coming across the board for SaSSy, actually. Let's see how many have been taken. You see 4 for Lovat, 5 for Dre. So, I mean, blue team's been getting their share of amps. Certainly double the... Actually, you know what? Now that I look back at it, I believe double the amps have gone to SaSSy. So they've been stealing the red amp probably about, say, a quarter of the time. I don't know how to do that calculus in my head, but either way, the amp's definitely going blues or red's way. And, you know, that's definitely going to make a big difference on Grendelkeep. because since there's 2 in the map, you can potentially get runs going where you have 2 amps going at the same time, and that can be absolutely devastating. And didn't notice any specific caps where that was the reason that it happened. You know, one thing we're seeing interesting out of Chowie here is he's doing a lot of trans dropping, and you know, there might be something that if Blue goes back, if a Team Big goes back and reviews this demo, maybe something they can watch out for more is looking for those translocators running around, because if you can go ahead and kill one on the way in, you can catch a defender. You can basically cripple them because they won't be able to catch up to you by transing. They pretty much just have to suicide. We see blue flag moving again, although once again red flag moving again. Kind of the story of this match is the entire game is it's almost played like an Anfractuous match where both flags are moving constantly, and it's a big transition game. And I think just mostly due to their offensive-oriented players, you've just seen the red team able to win these transition battles. They're getting more pickups, they're getting long relays, you know, they're getting seals, they're getting everything you need to do in CTF, so that even though frags are kind of back and forth, they're getting the more important ones, and they're just in position more. Watch Danny try to cover himself out now. Got Blue cutting him off. He's going to get shot from both directions. Don't know how he stayed alive this long. Everyone's just kind of missing at this point. And his cover comes in, and he's able to get across. Sneaks in right under the EFC. Both flags down on the ground. Both flags getting picked up, but Vinja's going to get rocked right there as red gets to the flag quicker. And nobody on blue going to grab that one. One of the problems we have seen from blue team coming out all match has been the inability to get the red flag moving as their flag carrier is coming into cap. Getting out ahead of that enemy flag carrier has not been a big enough priority. They've had 2 or 3 people there trying to get those key frags, and while that's nice, you need to have at least one person jumping to the flag and trying to get it moving. But like I was telling Neo, these are things that are relatively straightforward to solve. I mean, they're big problems to capture the flag, but they're easy to solve. You just need to designate people and practice it. And so, you know, looking back on these matches, you know, I'm sure Team Big at this point is kind of just wanting this to end and maybe wants to just go have a drink and get some sleep at this point. But this is the time when you look back at it, you got to find something to work on. And there are a few things that you can do if you're them, and kind of get back to basics. Like I was saying with Neil, the one thing that Team Big does have, an advantage they do have, is they're still one of the best fragging teams in this MLUT season. And so that's something that's not going to go away. And if they can shore up some of these other issues, some of these more sort of classic capture the flag, positional and or positioning and communication problems, you know, maybe just split up certain responsibilities, such as getting pickups, who needs to be where during transitions. You know, that can be they can definitely turn into a team that's very dangerous. I think a big part of it's going to be whether they're willing to put in the time to do that. Because scrims like this, they really aren't fun. Playing against people who, you know, on paper aren't this much better than you, and taking your lumps, it's not really fun. You have to have the right mindset of, you know, looking at it as a challenge. And you know, if I'm the captain of this team, if I'm Bob, I'm basically saying, okay, well, let's look back at this, figure out how to get better from it, and let's scrim these same guys in a few more days, or maybe even a week or so, and let's see how we do again, and use that as a measuring stick. And that's something that I've done in the past, you know, that we've done in the past on various teams, is look at these and say, you know, yeah, they beat us by a ton today, but let's improve, let's talk about it, and then play them again 2 days later. And if you lose by, you know, 3 frags instead of 5, well, then you're making an improvement. And you play them again and play them again, and eventually you're going to beat them, and that's how you know that you're making progress. That's a very tangible way to measure yourself. And, you know, so that would be my approach if I'm Bob. We'll see if that happens. They may even stick around and play more maps, not really sure. There hasn't been any, you know, any rage quitting or any raging in chat or anything, so maybe they'll be willing to work on this some more. We're going to go ahead and pour through the stats. Pretty much know what we're going to see here is, I mean, blue team, like I say, they've done an okay job on the hundreds. They've done an okay job on the amps, but I think a lot more of blue amps have gone to red than red amps have gone to blue. Wish we had these UT Comp CTF stats up. We'll have those in the future. We go ahead and see, but I want to say Last time I looked, yeah, you're definitely going to have probably 8 to 10 more double damages going to red than to blue. So that's going to be a pretty big factor in a map like this, although there are many factors contributing to this. So, you know, again, these are scrims, nothing really at stake here. And we'll see if they decide to play. I'll cast one more if they decide to. I'm kind of getting tired. Voice is kind of going a little bit.